I'll start with a quick review for this book, Upstream. I think there is some good information overall. I like the premise of the book about preventing problem rather than reacting to problem. He gives this analogy of a river. If you see people or kids in the river, instead of saving them at the moment, which is obviously important, but we want to check what's going on upstream, why they're in the water in the first place. So that's like preventing issues rather than reacting to issues. That's a great premise. However, I think the book was a little too long, and some of the examples he gave uh, were not the best. So it's kind of like a mixed bag overall. I think it's a 3 star, 3 out of 5, probably even a high 3, but it's not a 4 exactly, but some interesting stuff. It's kind of like a pop psychology situation or pop culture, not like dense with information. Could definitely be shorter. Let's see the notes. Many people called Expedia just to get the itinerary. They had a lot of calls and they didn't understand why. One time they actually checked. Apparently a lot of people calling just to get the itinerary. So after they fixed that issue, they got much less calls. So that's preventing the problem rather than reacting. Finding the problem upstream is the right way to solve the problem. We have to find what's going on upstream. Why do we have the problem in the first place? Reacting versus preventing. So I think that's the main premise of the book. Reacting versus preventing. A cop preventing accidents would not be cherished as the one who gives tickets that is reacting. So society emphasize or cherish more reacting than preventing. Therefore, a cop that gives a lot of tickets is reacting, but he would be cherished more than the one that tried to prevent the accidents to happen in the first place. Problem blindness is thinking there is nothing to do about the problem. That's called problem blindness. Preventing problems is hard since there is no urgency to fix a problem before it poses a threat. So that's one problem with preventing problems is it's hard. There's a lot of problems at hand and there's no urgency to fix the problem unless it poses a significant threat. Housing first allows the homeless to get a house first and then treat other issues. So that's what the idea of housing first instead of the other way around, fixing the problem and then giving them a house. Apparently that works better. When everything triggers an alarm, nothing is an alarm. That's the problem with happening in hospitals. There's a lot of alarms going on. And when that happened, nothing is an alarm. Even things that's supposed to be. In one instance, increasing the open rate caused a decrease in sales as they were using catchy headlines and failed promises. So it's the open rate is email campaigns, or they try to all marketing managers try to increase the open rate. But what happened when you increase it too much? That's an idea of incentives. So what they did, then they try to increase the open rate. They used catchy headlines and failed promises, which eventually led to lower sales. So while you increase the open rate, that's not the main objective here. You want to increase sales, but not at all cost because it could decrease sales. Next one is, in one instance, police tried to classify rape as theft of service in order to lower the rape rate in the city. That's again another example of incentives. When there is a goal we're trying to accomplish, so we would try to get there by any means necessary, and that's one example. Next one is, a policy to combat cobras in India was to introduce a bounty. However, that led to cobras farming LOL. I think that's my favorite note from the book. So they had a lot of cobras in India. What they did is they introduced bounties. And again, that's another example of incentives. But what happened is that people start farming cobras. I found it very amusing because that's how they get money for it. And finally, we have feedback is essential to improve the upstream. So we have to get feedback, like how are we doing. So that's an important part. That's it for the notes. Again, there is some interesting stuff, I would say. But overall, except of the idea that we need to prevent rather than react, I don't think I got that much of the book. And part of the Cobra example, that was great. Thank you.